Hello, Carol Snyder here, another in our series of little bag of tricks to help you with your students of poverty. I have done so much research on poverty. I've even written a graduate course on poverty. All of the experts seem to agree on one thing. When we work with our students of poverty, the parents of the students in poverty, when we work as a staff, relationships are very, very important. I have yet to find anybody to say relationships are not important. In our buildings, we think of student-to-teacher relationship, very important, but also we need to remember student-to-student relationships. We need to remember staff-to-staff relationships. These are very important for our kids of poverty. Remembering that at home, our kids of poverty may not see positive role models getting along. They may not see mom and dad getting along. So teachers, adults, not getting along at school, the kids internalize that no adults ever get along. So it becomes important for us to get along. I have had so many teachers tell me, I do okay with my kids of poverty, it's their parents. I can't get them in for conferences. And when I do get them in, we all seem to be frustrated. So I'd like to give you a technique today to help with all relationships, and especially with the parents of your students of poverty. It's a technique that is known as becoming in sync with somebody, to hold up the mirror, to mirror them, to sort of match your body movements to theirs. It has to be a very subtle technique. Let me tell you a quick example, a quick story. I was doing a school presentation in Columbus, Ohio a few years ago, and I went out to lunch, driving back, stopped at a traffic light, glanced at my rearview mirror, and I saw a couple in the car behind me. It was very obvious they were not getting along. She had her head down, he had his head turned whenever he could and seemed to be yelling at her. I thought, oh my. Drive to the next traffic light and I checked him again. Same thing going on. Keep driving. I could hardly wait for another traffic light to see what this couple was up to now. The next traffic light, it had reversed somewhat. She had her head up and seemed to be yelling at him, and he was just looking straight ahead. I couldn't hear a word they were saying, but it was obvious they were not in sync. They were not in tune. They were arguing. To get in sync with somebody, first we have to always look at them. How many times have I said to my husband or to one of my children, look at me when I'm talking to you? It's an indication we're listening. So to get in sync with somebody, we learn to look at them. We also learn to somewhat match what they're doing physically with their body. If I'm at a conference and I'm seated and I have a parent that's seated, if the parent is all crossed up, I call it, arms folded, legs crossed, if I'm going to get in sync with them, I will match that very subtly, I don't want to have them think I'm mimicking them in any way, so I will just cross my body a little bit. My goal is to communicate with them. This really helps with communication. If you're going to practice this, I would invite you to consider first just observing people. Watch people that are getting along. Watch for their matching body language. Watch for people who perhaps are not getting along or never seem to get along, and you'll see a big difference. I see classroom teachers doing this all the time when they walk up to a student and perhaps kneel down by their desk. That puts you in sync. You're not hovering over them. So observe, start practicing at home. I've noticed my husband very rarely crosses his legs. I cross my legs all the time. So to get in sync with him, I will uncross my legs. So practice at home, do your observations, practice in your classrooms, and then when you're very comfortable, start using this technique with your colleagues, and then eventually in parent-teacher conferences. It can be very powerful, but it does take practice, it does take work, Get it into your comfort zone before you venture forth with this new technique in building positive relationships. Thank you.